so excited because I will be telling you my favorite story, Princess Poppy. Ballet Shoes, which was written by Jenny Louis Jones. Let's start. The glass doors of the sitting room at Honeysuckle Cottage were open to the garden. Poppy danced and floated around the sunlight room. "My new ballet shoes are a perfect fit, Mom," she cried. Poppy pointed to her shoes, held on to the sofa as ballet and practiced for her positions. She did a pirouette and then cursed around her audience and finished with a bow. Then she ran towards her mom. "Madame Aguilera is choosing parts for the big show today," Poppy told her mom. "I just know I'm going to be Capella, a living dancing doll," she said. "Don't be too sure," warned Mom, worried that Poppy would be disappointed if she wasn't picked. "The person who dances the best on that day would be chosen." "It has to be me," laughed Poppy. "I'm the best dancer by far, and Cousin Saffron is going to make me my own beautiful Capella dress." As they were leaving for the audition, Poppy saw that her best friend Honey was at the garden gate. "Honey, why don't you come with ballet to me?" called Poppy. "Madame Aguilera is needs some extra villagers for the street scene in Capella." Honey had never been to ballet before. "Well, you'd love to dance, don't you, Honey?" said Granny Bumble. "I do, Honey," said Honey, and dashed off in the direction of her house to find something pretty to wear to her first ballet class. They arrived at the Lavender's Lake School of Dance and found Madame Aguilera in a very excited state. "Document," she called to the pianist who was playing too quickly. "Aresma, not gente," she cried in a different language. She cried to an older girl in a pink latte. Honey thought this was all very strange and a bit scary too, but she did love the way the dancers moved gracefully along the floor. "Poppy," said the teacher, clapping her hands quickly above her head. "Dance for me, Poppy." Poppy wasn't nervous at all. She began to twirl and jump as she has practiced in her own sitting room. "Bravo, bravo," cried Madame, clapping. "And who is this new girl?" she asked, looking at Honey. I'm Honey," stamped Honey, looking a bit red and scared. "Well, Honey, let me see you dance," demanded Madame Aguilera. Honey began to glide across the dance floor. She moved like a fairy, fluttering with the light and silky wings. Everyone felt silent as they watched her do jumps and spins. Madame glided across the dance floor to Honey and stood by the bed. "Honey, you move like a natural dancer. You, child, will dance Capella," she announced. Poppy's mouth dropped open in amazement. "But Honey was only meant to be a villager. I should be Capella. I am Capella," thought Poppy furiously. Mom put an arm around Poppy. "Let's go and say well done to Honey, shall we?" she suggested. But Poppy couldn't. She burst into tears of anger and disappointment. And something else. It was a feeling that she couldn't understand. She was annoyed with herself for bringing Honey along to her with ballet class. For the next few days, Poppy refused to play with Honey. Instead, she imagined that her dolls and toys had came to life. You would never steal my part in the show, would you, Ruby?" she said to her big rag doll. Poppy felt even worse when she looked to her garden gate and saw Honey playing with a new friend, Mimosa, whose parents owned the Honey Garden Hotel in Honeypot Hill. It was bad enough to lose the part of Copella in the show, but to lose a best friend, it was unbearable. When Grandpa came round, Poppy flung her arms around him and she cried. She cried about the ballet show, but mostly she cried about that she missed Honey. Poppy, said Grandpa, you will always be my little star, but you can't always be the star of the show. You are my Princess Poppy, but you cannot be a princess always in the show. To be a true princess, you need to be kind and generous to your friends. I do miss Honey, snapped Poppy. And Honey misses you, said Grandpa. Why don't you go and make friends with her again? But the next day at ballet class, Poppy was surprised to find that Honey wasn't there. Girls, said Madame, Honey has a bad stomachache, so she cannot dance the part of Copella instead. The Copella for tomorrow's big show will be Mademoiselle Poppy. Poppy was thrilled. She couldn't believe it. But then she thought about Honey. How disappointed she would be to not be able to dance in the show. Mom, can I take some flowers to Honey? Poppy asked after the class. I'm sure they would make her feel better. What a lovely idea, said Poppy's mom. Poppy! Squeaked Honey with delight as a friend came into the room. Poppy smiled and handed the flowers to Honey. Honey, I think you would have been a great Copella, said Poppy. Oh, I wish you were well enough to dance the part. Honey gave Poppy a big hug. All of a sudden, Honey felt much better. Honey felt well enough to dance Copella at the big show, and she danced it beautifully. Everyone said that she was the most grateful ballerina we have ever seen. Poppy danced the part of Swanthill, wearing satin shoes and a beautiful pink tutu made for her especially by Cousin Saffron. Everyone clapped as Poppy trotted lightly around the stage. At the end of the show, Honey was giving a bouquet of sweet-smelling flowers. She broke the pose in half and gave half of it to Poppy. They cursed together and hugged to be friends again. After the show, Grandpa came backstage. Poppy, you were wonderful, he told her. Oh, thank you, Grandpa. I'm so glad I could make a good job of my part. Even though it was smaller than Honey's, I was still important in this show. Wasn't I? Asked Poppy. Darling, there wouldn't have been a story without you, replied Grandpa. My little ballerina princess, Poppy. Thank you.